Hope you stay with me on my journey to become more fluent in English.
How much mark does writing task 1 contain?
Exactly 33.33% or one third of the total writing marks. So we all know that writing, reading, listening and speaking, they are marked out of band 9. So band 7 is a good score, band 6.5 is also a good score. Remember that since writing task 1 is only one third of the total mark, so you have to calculate how much marks you need, how many marks you need for writing task 1 and writing task 2 to make it a 7 or a 6.5.
How much time should I spend in writing task 1?
As I said, writing task 1 has one third of the total marks for writing. So you should also spend one third of the time allocated for the writing test. That is 20 minutes out of 60 minutes. But I understand that it's not so clear cut as that. Some people need more time. I have seen very few people who can finish before 20 minutes. So I would say 20 to 25, but not more than 25. So one suggestion is that you can start with actually writing task 2. Finish writing task 2 within 40 minutes maximum, then you will have about 20 minutes. So you will be forced to finish writing task 1 within 20 minutes. Why is that a good idea? Not only is it because writing task 2 is more important, it has more marks, not only because of that, but also writing task 1 sometimes has a lot of information. So if you have less time, you will have pressure. You will feel the pressure to finish early. So you will not fall into the trap of writing about a lot of information. The thing is to summarize, not to write about everything.
How many words should I write?
You have to write a minimum of 150 words. It is mentioned in the question, it will be mentioned on your test day that write a minimum of 150 words. But if you write 200 words, 250, 300, even 500 or 1000 words, will the examiner cut your marks? No. Theoretically, it is completely fine if you write 500 or even 1000 words or even beyond that. But of course, it's very difficult to write so much, and there is a high likelihood, there is a high chance that you will write irrelevant things. You will write about irrelevant information if you write so much. So my suggestion is that you can stick to 200 words. 180 to 200, that is the sweet spot.
How many paragraphs should I write?
In writing task 1, I usually suggest my students to write 4 paragraphs. But it's flexible. You can write 3, 4 or 5 paragraphs. Not beyond 5 and also not, of course, below 3. I suggest to write at least 4 paragraphs and sometimes 5 paragraphs. Let me break it down for you. The first paragraph should be the paraphrase of the question. Some people also attach the overview with the first paragraph. The overview is basically like an introduction. It has a thesis statement of exactly whatever you will talk about or you will write about in that report. It has in 2 or 3 sentences. That is the overview. But I recommend my students to write it in a separate paragraph because the overview is the most important part of the whole writing task 1. So it should deserve a separate paragraph. So the first paragraph, just to paraphrase the question within 1 to 2 sentences. The second paragraph, just the overview, only the overview, nothing else, 2 to 3 sentences. Then the third and fourth paragraphs are for the body paragraphs. They are for the information, they are for the exact details. Here you will elaborate on your overview points, the observations that you have made in the overview. You will write in details. For example, the percentage, the exact date, or the exact examples you will give in the body paragraphs. Sometimes there are 3 or maybe 6 things in the chart or in the graph. For example, 3 metals, nickel, zinc and copper. For this kind of question, you can write 3 body paragraphs. First, the paraphrase of the question, then the overview, then 3 body paragraphs for 3 separate things. But for most of the questions, I think 2 body paragraphs are enough. So in total, 4 paragraphs.
Can I use the first person?
The first person point of view means I, my, our. Many people write in I think or I will write about in this essay or in this report. My suggestion is that since this is academic module of the IELTS. This is the academic module. Do not use the first person unless you are asked by the question. So in writing task 2, you are usually asked for your opinion. Do you agree or do you disagree? Or discuss both views and give your opinion. So in those questions, of course, you should mention I or my, like my opinion. But since this is a report, this is a very, very formal piece of writing, I suggest not writing in the first person. Just write this report shows. Or you don't even have to say this report. Just describe the data, summarize them, and compare and contrast them.
Can I give my own interpretation?
So the word interpretation, do you know what it means, Sanjida?
Yeah, from my own perspectives.
Yes, yes. So of course you have to analyze the data. You are asked to analyze, to summarize, to compare and contrast. So to
From
some
my own
extent,
point of view,
you
right?
have to interpret in an objective way, but you cannot give your own perspective.
Yeah, it
When we
cannot
think
be
about-
subjective.
Yes, subjective means your own perspectives or opinions. So in writing task 2, we are almost always asked to give our own opinions. So that has some interpretations. But here in writing task 1, do not give your own examples, any examples from your life or any other examples outside of the chart. Please do not do that. Do not also say why it happened. Let's give an example. Let's say there is a chart, a bar chart. It shows in 1997 the salaries of, let's say, the salaries of Bangladeshi people, and in 2017 the salaries of Bangladeshi people. So most probably it has gone up for most people. The average salary has gone up. Let's say it was 10,000, now it's 30,000. Let's say. So will you say why it changed, Sanjida?
No,
No,
I should
please
not.
do not.
Yeah.
The chart, most probably the bar chart, is not asking for why. It is just showing the difference. You can say it increased, it tripled, it increased by 3 times. You can say things like that. That is analysis. But interpretations means that you are thinking of what caused. So please do not use such sentences here that it increased because of inflation, it increased because Bangladesh is a more capitalist country now. Do not say anything like that.
Do I need to use complex sentences?
Complex sentences means what, Sanjita? That there are 2 clauses.
Two
An
clauses.
independent clause and a
And
dependent.
dependent.
For example, he failed the test though he studied hard for it. So there is a complex sentence. It's not a difficult sentence, right? So yes, you should use complex sentences a lot in writing task 1 and also in writing task 2. There are marks
So
for using complex
my
sentences.
question is, the complex sentences, are they in rubric also?
I was going to say that,
Oh,
they
okay.
are in the actual band descriptors or the rubric. If you just Google IELTS writing rubric or IELTS writing band descriptor, you will find on Google Images. You can download them or you can just view them. It said that there are 4 elements of the rubric: task achievement in writing task 1, then there is lexical resource, which is vocabulary, then there is grammatical range and accuracy, then there is also cohesion and coherence. So in grammatical range and accuracy, it is written very, very specifically, very, very clearly that if you do not have any subordinate clauses, that means what? Dependent clauses. If you do not have subordinate clauses, you will not even get a 4, band 4 in grammar. Imagine you get 7 in task achievement, 7 in lexical resource, 7 in cohesion and coherence, but 4 in grammatical range and accuracy. It will drop your score down to 6. So just because of this silly mistake, if you think that no, I will write very simply, I will write in a simple way, my teachers taught me to write in a simple way, then you will lose marks in grammatical range, even if you are accurate in your grammar, even if there is no grammar mistake. So yes, please use complex sentences, learn how to use them.
Do I need to paraphrase?
Paraphrasing means to write or say something in your own words that is different from the question or different from what you said earlier. We talked about this in the speaking FAQ video, right, Sanjita?
Yes.
In that video, I said that it is important in speaking. You get some good marks, you get some bonus marks if you can do it well. But it was not mandatory in speaking. Somebody even without paraphrasing can get even 8. It's fine, it's possible. But in writing, it is not possible, I will say. It is impossible to get a good band without paraphrasing. Why? Because in the first sentence of the paragraph, for both writing task 1 and writing task 2, what do you have to do? You have to talk about the background information. And the background information is given where, Sanjida? In the question.
No question, yeah.
And if you paraphrase that question, then you get some marks automatically. It's the easiest paragraph. You just have to paraphrase, nothing else, in the first paragraph of writing task 1.
Also
in
there
writing task
should
2.
be some synonyms also, right?
Yes.
If you use increase and decrease once, can you
Mhm.
use it again, increase
Good,
and decrease?
Good point. So not only in the first paragraph, let's say you have paraphrased the first paragraph without copy pasting the questions, background information. That is a very good idea. But even after that, in the body paragraphs, let's say it increased in 3 places. We will write it increased here, it increased here, it increased here. It doesn't sound good, right? You have to show off your vocabulary. You can say it surged, or it experienced a spike. You can say it enhanced if it goes with the sentence structure. So yes, paraphrasing is supremely important in writing.
Do I need to mention all the data?
That's a good question. You do not have to mention every single information that is in the data. Actually, this is written in the question itself. It says to summarize and compare and contrast when it is appropriate, when relevant. So if you just summarize, or if you just explain the graph or chart or map every single detail you summarize, you will not get good marks, you know. You may think that I wrote everything there was in the question, but why did I get 5.5, or why did I not get 6? So the thing is that you did not summarize. Summarizing is a skill. You can watch videos on YouTube, and maybe I will also make a video on summarizing, how to effectively summarize.
You
It's
have a
skill.
video already on that.
On summary writing.
Not specifically on summary,
yeah.
but
An academic
overall
video I
in
have.
writing task
In
one.
about writing task 1, I have a separate video. It will be given in the description, of course. But to answer this question directly, you do not need to write about everything. You need to write about some patterns. Let's say it increased thrice. So you should write 1 or 2 sentences about this. You should not write 3 separate sentences. Let's say it had a lot of changes. Will you write it changed in February, again it changed in March, again it changed in April? No, you can say that it had a lot of fluctuations throughout the year.
Okay, this one is very important question. I think so. Do I need to write a concluding paragraph?
Nice, interesting. So why don't you tell me, Sanjida, do we need a concluding paragraph in writing task 1?
I think that we already will be writing in the overview. So the overview is already like a conclusion.
Another reason why we don't need to give a concluding paragraph in writing task 1 is that it is not an essay, it's just a report. So we just have to report what happened or what is being described or portrayed in the graph or the chart or the map. And also, as you said, we do write the overview in the beginning. That's what I suggest. But some people also write the overview at the end. That is also fine. The examiner will not cut any marks for that. So either at the beginning or the end, you should have the overview. And if you have the overview at the beginning, you can just finish the body paragraphs, maybe 2 or 3 body paragraphs, and then end your writing task. There's no need for a concluding paragraph.